Greetings, Internet! I am Sir Swagelton, and welcome to my top 10 favorite Pokemon. Let me start off with the usual thing that is always said at the start of these lists, that being that this is all based on my own personal opinions. The Pokemon you see on this list, I feel the most connected to, and have had the best experience with, which is very hard to narrow down to just 10. In fact, there are hundreds of Pokemon that I love. Pokemon constantly came in and out of this list. It didn't help that I was getting distracted by shiny objects. No wait, that's a list for another day. Anyway, today we are talking about Pokemon and the ones that I love the most. Now, I've been playing since the beginning. Back when I was your age, there were only 151 Pokemon, and we didn't have these fancy Mega Evolutions and Double Battles and Royal Who am I? I miss my wife. So, because I've been playing since Red and Blue, I considered all 721-ish Pokemon to date. The hardest part of this list was actually thinking about why I like some of these guys in the first place. Beyond, oh my god, how badass they are, or how adorable they look, it really is difficult to choose just 10. But, without delaying it any further, here are my top 10 favorite Pokemon. Luxray is the newest addition to this list, and honestly, it's because of Clemens. When he uses electric terrain during his battle against Ash, he just looks badass, and that's not the only time either. I know I said it was really hard to find things to say besides oh my god, it's so awesome and amazing, but honestly, that's why I love Luxray. He screams badass. Luxray will bite a thunderbolt that's coming towards it without giving a damn. Luxray eats thunderbolts for breakfast, and then Pikachu's for dessert. The design, it's just amazing, both shiny and regular. The black on blue, or black on yellow for shiny, it's just perfect. Although, I'm a sucker for black on any color really, Luxray just pulls it off. I really do wish that Luxray was dark electric, but maybe someday we'll get a Mega that fulfills that dream of mine. We did manage to catch a Luxio in the Omicron Funlocke, and I was so happy. But little did I know that a few seconds after witnessing a dream come true, I would have it taken away by a game crash. I spent over an hour trying to find my lost friend, but I had no luck. Someday, Luxray, someday we will be together, and it will be the best adventure ever! Ghost Pokemon have always been really cool. Creepy Pokedex entries, great designs, the perfect mixture of kid-friendly and horror. Chandelure is one of those ghosts that when you read the Pokedex entry, you wonder why people would even dare go outside in the first place. With entries like, being consumed in Chandelure's flame burns up the spirit, leaving the body behind. Or, the spirits burned up in its ominous flame lose their way and wander this world forever. Just brings up all the nope factors. Freddy and his crew be damned. Chandelure could take on all the nightmare-inducing animatronics and burn their souls like it was breakfast time. That's twice so far I've brought up breakfast. Maybe I should make some waffles. Now I want waffles. Waffles aside, once again, I just love the way Chandelure looks. Purple on black, looks like a human-made object, but in a good way. Like an actual ghost possessed a Chandelure, so it can burn your soul. Not to mention, it's a ghost fire type, two of my favorite types. People give Generation 5 crap for having bad Pokemon, but I believe it's Pokemon like Chandelure that prove it wrong. Jumping from the horror to the adorable, we have Dedenne, my favorite Pika clone. For the most part, I do not like the Pika wannabes, but something about Dedenne I just loved as soon as I saw it. While some people cried Raichu clone, I was going, Dwah! It's so cute! And thinking about how I would go all Elmira on Dedenne if I had one for real. Do people know who Elmira is? Oh god, did I just show how old I am? Basically, she was a character that loved animals. A lot. But anyway, back to Dedenne. As soon as I found one, I added it to my team, and Dedenne went all the way to the end of the game with me. Out of all of Kalos, Dedenne is my second favorite from the generation. It's the Pokemon that would chill on my shoulder, the cute little mon that I would love forever and ever. Not to mention, while most of the other Pika clones are pure electric, and Mulga being the only exception, Dedenne is also a fairy, so this adorable little guy is also a badass dragon slayer. For the most part, I don't really like when Pokemon are one and done with no evolution of any kind. However, I would be a-okay if they left Dedenne alone for the rest of forever, so it could always be the cute little mon that stole my heart in Kalos. Sticking with the cute little guy theme, we have the only legend on this list, Victini. When Black and White first came out, it was sort of the beginning of me really getting back into Pokemon. Pokemon White was one of the few Pokemon games where I traveled everywhere, got every item, and I even completed the Pokedex. Clocking in over 150 hours into the game, it more or less started with my event Victini. I usually do not use legends when I play through a game for the first time. However, since Victini was basically handed to me, I had to use it. I loved the design, and the typing was amazing. To this date, Victini is the best fire psychic. Little Del Stupid has nothing on the amazing power that is Victini. When making this list, I decided I'd have at least one legend, because let's face it, who doesn't love the legends? And while there are a few others that could have been on this list as well, Victini in my eyes, it's just the best legend. It's victory in physical form. Victini is positivity and encouragement to succeed, and will help you do so. It's one of the most positive forces in Pokemon, and that's why I love Victini. Everyone loves starters. It's the first Pokemon choice you make in every Pokemon game. While the firefighting starter became way overused, Infernape did it best. That's right, I'm looking at you, Blaziken. Sorry, that was rude. I do love me some Bachfire, but I just love Fire Goku more. 9 times out of 10, when I play Generation 4, I choose Chimchar, because I just love Infernape. It's also one of the few Pokemon Ash actually let fully evolve. Crazy, I know. However, my love for Infernape is much more than the badass design or the fact that it's my favorite Sinnoh starter. Chimchar itself is one of my wife's favorite Pokemon. I can remember when we were younger, we had this little Chimchar plush that we would just use to shout Chimchar at each other. I also bought her a giant Chimchar plush for her anniversary present. So I'm sure you must be asking yourself, well, Swagelton, it seems like you love Chimchar more than Infernape. So, why is Infernape in this spot and not Chimchar? To which my response is, oh my god, thank you so much for asking. It genuinely makes me so happy that someone cares. And because I like Infernape's design more than I like Chimchar's. When looking at the design, its fire just looks like Super Saiyan hair. And honestly, everything is better with Super Saiyan hair. Shut up, yes it is. Do not question my genius! When a lot of people think about Generation 2, they think Lugia or Ho-Oh. But once they're done thinking about them, they think about Ampharos. Easily a fan favorite, especially among the electric type, and I'm no exception to this. Ampharos is my favorite electric type, also coming from my favorite generation. 10 times out of 10, Ampharos is on my team anytime I travel through Johto. There's just no better electric type. Not to mention, once again, amazing design. Game Freak has definitely made some awful looking Pokemon. However, it's Pokemon like Ampharos that keep people coming back for more. I'm not really sure what else I can say about Ampharos. It's one of those popular Pokemon that's popular for a reason. It's great at everything it does. Even Mega Ampharos just adds to how awesome it is, growing hair like it's a Super Saiyan 3. And as I already said, everything is better with Super Saiyan hair. My love for Mishy is already well known on the channel. It all started with the original Omicron playthrough. I caught a little Shroomish, and when it evolved, I fell in love. However, that adventure was cut short, and so was my fun with Mishy. Then, Omega Ruby came out, and I got another chance. As soon as I got into Petalburg Woods, I knew I had to find my friend Mishy, and oh did I. Some of you may have already watched, but if you haven't, well, as I revisited Hoenn, which was my least favorite region at the time, It was Mishy who came along and showed me how great Pokemon from Hoenn can be. Mishy has a great design, along with great typing, with a moveset to match it. Anytime I go back to Hoenn, I will always find my friend Mishy. Mishy skyrocketed up this list, and I look forward to using Mishy more in the future. Easily my favorite Pokemon from Hoenn, and one of my favorite experiences with a Pokemon that I didn't realize the full potential of. Mishy will always be a staple for the channel and a huge part of my Pokemon experience history. As I said earlier, Johto is my favorite region. While a lot of people my age remember their first from Red and Blue, and a lot of times have them on their list, it was actually Generation 2 that was closer to my heart rather than Generation 1. I usually chose the Fire Starter at the time, and the Cyndaquil line is my favorite Fire Starter line up to this day. I just love it. The fire coming out the back, the sleek badassness that comes off of Typhlosion is just unmatched by almost any other starter. Like Dedenne, Typhlosion is a Pokemon that I can picture myself walking around with. Most people know what their team would consist of if they were in the Pokemon world. For me, Typhlosion's on there for sure. It's my favorite fire type. Helm's from my favorite region and is the starter I used the most when I was a kid. I picture myself like Jimmy from Pokemon Chronicles with his Typhlosion. If you've seen that, then I don't need to say anything else about Typhlosion. It's just the best. And for the longest time, Typhlosion was my favorite starter. I did not think any other starter would ever beat it. However, we'll get to that soon. This was the hardest decision I had to make, even harder than choosing your starter at the beginning of each Pokemon game. Umbreon was my favorite Pokemon forever. Ever since Johto, I have loved Umbreon. I spent most of my life owning black cats. I currently own 2 of them. I know Eevee and the evolutions aren't cats, but Umbreon always reminded me of my cats. I also just love the design. Dark type is my favorite type, and Umbreon, being the Moonlight Pokemon, matches that perfectly. I've always been more of a night person than a day person, so having to raise an Eevee at night to get Umbreon, it just matched me. Anytime I get an Eevee, I know I'm going to be playing at night until I get my Umbreon. People get very attached to Pokemon for whatever reason they can come up with. For me, Umbreon is the Pokemon I felt the most connected to. I know it's weird, I can't really explain it, but Umbreon to me is what Pikachu is to Ash. Yeah, that's the best way to explain it. I love Umbreon. No matter what people say about Umbreon, I will always love Umbreon. I'm hoping that someday we get a Mega Umbreon that becomes the first Dark Fairy type. Giving it access to Moonblast just because it's the Moonlight Pokemon would be a dream come true for me. I never thought I would love a Pokemon more than Umbreon, but then a certain Pokemon game came out and changed everything. Before I reveal my number 1 pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Mewtwo, Rayquaza, Gengar, Crocodile, Scolipede, Furfrou, Pangoro, Swampert or Swamp Hulk, Tyrantrum. These guys are all amazing Pokemon, just didn't quite make the list. And now for my number 1 pick. So, remember when I said Typhlosion was my favorite starter for the longest time? The days leading up to the release of X and Y, I was on Team Chespin. I had never really used the grass starter the first time I played a Pokemon game, so I was interested in the change. When the evolutions were released, while Quilladin was strange, it did not make me change my mind. It was not until the final evolutions were leaked that I knew I had to choose Froakie. I'm not the only one either. Greninja is another fan favorite, and with good reason. Its design is flawless. It's the best Pokemon to come out of Kalos. Has an amazing ability, and the shiny, oh god, the shiny. I love the black on Blood Red, but regular Greninja is amazing as well. My favorite water type, my favorite starter. I can sum up how amazing Greninja is with one word. Protein. Protean? One of those two, however you say it, you know what I mean. The ability to become the type of the move you're using, it's the best. Greninja is truly like a ninja, and the best Kalos starter. Del Stupid be damned, it's got nothing on Greninja. X and Y were huge game changers for Pokemon. It was like starting all over. So, while it was a hard decision to bump Umbreon to number 2, it was also an easy decision to put Greninja at number 1, the Pokemon I started my Kalos adventure with. It's also a fun fact to put that Greninja is also my main in Smash Brothers, so I get to play with Greninja in other games as well. I also like that Ash has a Frogadier, but at the same time, Ash's history with starters makes me worry. So help me, Ash, if you do not let that Frogadier evolve into Greninja,
I will find you, and I will kill you.
So there you have it, my top 10 favorite Pokemon. This list took a lot of thought, and a lot of changes happened along the way. Also remember that this was all opinionated, so if your favorite didn't make the list, or if I talked bad about a certain Del Stupid that you may happen to love, I'm sorry. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and I look forward to doing plenty more in the future. In fact, I'll leave the next one up to you guys. Would you rather see my top 10 least favorite Pokemon, or would you like to see my top 10 favorite Kanto Pokemon? Leave a comment down below, poke that like button, and poke that subscribe button if you're new and want to see more top 10s in the future. But until then, guys, I'll see you then. Oh, and in here is just a new route. Oh. It's the Augur, and the leader of the Infernal Cult, I'm guessing? Oh, so many characters, so many voices. I don't remember at all. I'm assuming